Hey, Bill DeWeese here, voiceover talent, voiceover coach. I hope you are doing well. How's it going for you on voiceover pay-to-play sites? Have you utilized them? And if so, what's your story? What's your success rate, if any at all? When I talk to people about pay-to-play, and I'm talking specifically about sites like voice123.com, oftentimes I'll get negative feedback, and the feedback will be, well, I've auditioned hundreds of times and I haven't booked a job. I've been on there for 2 years and nothing has happened. Well, when that happens, it always boils down to one or two or three of three different things. But before I talk to you about those three things, because these three things can literally change, not to sound melodramatic here, but your life. Because once you understand how these things work, for instance, I book on average 2 to 3 new clients every week just through pay-to-play sites. And that's not counting the repeat business that I get from clients that I've already booked. Almost all of my new clients come through online casting sites like voice123.com. But it's a matter of, and I've been on them for a long time, so I've had a chance to experience and to learn. And if you don't understand completely what you're doing, and these three things I'm about to talk about, then you can get beat up pretty bad, even if you're a talented voiceover talent. So let's talk about how this works. The number one key to success on voiceover pay-to-play sites, your demos. Your demos really have to be good. They have to be stellar, because your demo is your lead piece. Now, when I talk pay-to-play with voiceover talent, usually the thing they respond to me about is regarding cattle call auditions, where a client posts an audition and you jump in. And of course, everybody wants to be first, so they make sure they get heard and all of that kind of thing, which is fine. Would it surprise you to know that I quit doing cattle call auditions 2 years ago? I've done maybe 5 auditions in the past 2 years, cattle call auditions on pay-to-play, but yet I'm extremely successful on pay-to-play. Why is that? It's because a lot of people don't understand that clients not only hire voiceover talent through cattle call auditions, but they hire them by specifically looking for talent. So in other words, a client may not, and oftentimes does not, post an audition. What they do is they begin looking for a voice for their project. And the first thing they hear is your demo, not your custom audition, but your demo. And well, there's another element of that too, and that is you have to be found. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But your demos have to represent you well. They have to be produced well. Your performance has to be spot on. You need to really be reflecting your personality, your point of view, and show a broad spectrum, a broad range of you and your personality. So that's the first thing to take a look at, your demos. The second thing to look at is going to be your auditioning skills. If you've auditioned hundreds of times and you've not booked any work, chances are you need some help when it comes to your auditions and your auditioning strategy. And because you can have the best profile, you can have lots of demos, you can have all of that. But even if somebody's looking for a voice and you've optimized, number one, your profile, and number two, your demos properly, and you've been found, you have to be able to close the deal. Because although sometimes a client will hire you and just say, hey, I loved your work, will you do this project? Oftentimes it's, hey, will you read for me? Or I'm inviting you and 4 other people to this private audition. Because that's where I get most of my work, through private auditions. And I get multiple invitations every day to private auditions. And if you're not, it means you're not doing these 3 things properly. When you have the opportunity to close the deal, meaning reading for a job, you've got to be able to deliver a great audition. And then the third thing is you have to understand how the platforms work. It's much like SEO, search engine optimization. If you want to be found on Google, you have to understand how Google works. And you have to make sure that your presence online is optimized so that when people are searching for you or your product or service, that you come up in the search. And that's something that I do very well. I get found. So you have to be found before you ever get heard. And then when you get heard, you've got to be able to deliver the goods so that you finally get hired. So those are your 3 keys. So if you're not getting success on voiceover pay-to-play sites, You have to look at your demos, your auditioning skills, and then finally make sure you understand how those platforms work so that when people are searching for a voice, that you pop up in the mix. And if you can do that successfully, it can literally, I mean, literally change your career and change your life. If you feel like you need help in those areas, a couple of things. You can just email voiceoverexpert@gmail.com is here on the screen. If you feel like you need help with your demos, just put in the response demo, and I'll know what that's about, and I'll get that information to you. I also have a training program created specifically on how to get more work through voiceover pay-to-play sites. It's called VO P2P Success. And I'm going to put a link to that down in the description. So if you feel like you need help in that area, you can check that out as well. But voiceover pay-to-play sites, online casting is where it's at right now. It's where you always have to be looking for where voiceover seekers are gathering. And that is where they are gathering. Not just small and medium size, but Fortune 500 companies, major advertisers. That is where they are looking for talent. And there's a lot of money to be made there if you know how to play the game properly. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you'll comment, that you'll like, subscribe, and share, and we'll talk soon.